Oh, this is HD. Oh, this is HD.
I'm a woman with a heart, and I deserve your all. I'm not some girl who don't know what she wants. I'm a woman.
Ladies, gentlemen, my select gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to make this video, and just for today, because today, if you guys don't know, is my 8-year anniversary since I transitioned. So would that make today my 8-year tranniversary? I'll take it. Today is my 8-year tranniversary. This day, 8 years ago, I decided to say it and not live for anyone else but myself. 8 years later, I can still say that that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and I've never looked back or wished anything went any differently or regretted anything. It's been the best 8 years of my life, and I couldn't imagine me being anyone or anywhere else. With that being said, and in honor of my 8-year tranniversary, I wanted to take you guys back to the very beginning of my journey and the life I've lived in the 8 years since. And so, if you care to come with me on this little travel back in time to the start, stick with me, and here we go. So without going into too much detail, and because we all already know, I didn't just discover that I wanted to be a woman only 8 years ago. This was something that I was born with. This was something that I had wanted in my heart. I just never knew what it was or knew what it meant. But it was 8 years ago that I decided to just live for myself and be happy and do what's best for me. And I got to that point at 18 years old, which was back in 2009. Again, don't do the math. And so after so many life experiences and going through so many things and discovering who I am, and once I knew what a transgender was, and once I knew what it meant to be one, and finding the woman inside, I remember I was 17, 18 years old, and this was somewhere in senior year, somewhere in the beginning-ish. I was laying in bed, and I just remember thinking to myself, what if I go to senior ball as a girl, as Carla? Because at that time I had already manifested the woman I felt like I was inside. She had a name, she had feelings, and all that kind of stuff. It hit me that night just as a random thought, as something that I didn't even think I was even going to do, because if you know me, I sometimes will have crazy ideas that I think are crazy in the beginning, but once it starts to manifest, I'm like, wait a second, this might be possible. Once I really kind of fixated myself on it and thought of all the possibilities and thought about where I would get my makeup done and what dress I would wear and how my hair would be. And I had a guy friend at the time who was really close to me, so I thought to myself, I may actually have a date too. Because I thought to myself, if there was one night to just live and be who I want and be happy, it should be the biggest night of our high school careers and our high school life. So of course, the first people that I approached were my best friends, because you never buy a mini skirt without asking your friends if it's cute first, right? They all obviously supported me. They were all on board, and I told my guy friend about it, and he said to me, yeah, like, I think you should do it, and if you need a date, I'll go with you. So I was like, okay. So all of these things kind of added up, and I said to myself, holy crap, I'm going to senior ball as a girl and as Carla. I don't know how I'm going to tell my parents this, because they're going to have to pay for my dress. They're going to have to pay for my ticket, my hair, my makeup, my shoes. But nonetheless, I thought to myself, I can get through that. My parents are very understanding people, and my family is too. I think that this might be the time to just let them know that this is how I feel on the inside, and that it was just going to be for one night, or so I thought. My life has been a series of you thought moments. Mind you, this is still the beginning of senior year, and because senior ball wasn't until like the end of the year, I kind of held off on telling my parents. So that was just that, and I just let the thought kind of manifest itself, and I tried to build up the courage every single day to try and tell my parents, but I was like, I have so much time to do it. So in September, I had turned 18, and my best friend Samantha turned 18 in December. Me being the oldest of my friends, I couldn't go out to clubs, and I couldn't do 18 and up things without them because they were still 17. So because Samantha was finally 18, I had a friend that could come with me and we could go to the club. So that January, we took a solid plan that we are gonna go out and we're gonna club for the first time, and we were gonna figure out how to get our 2 other best friends that were 17 years old in, because when you know people, you know people. As we were talking about it, we kind of just said to ourselves, what if we bring Carla? And this wasn't even my idea. It was one of my friends. They were like, what if we just bring Carla to the club, give her a little bit of a test run before you go to senior ball, you know, make sure that this is something you actually want to do. And again, I was like, y'all crazy, y'all wildin'. Until we really talked about it and we talked about the possibilities, and it kind of hit me like, okay, we could do this. I could get like a cute pair of heels, like a cute clubbing outfit. Like my hair at the time was long enough. I wasn't intentionally growing it out, but it was growing, so my hair was long enough. I probably just had to put in a little bit of an extension. Thus the birth of my love for extensions, which I may not be wearing right now, but catch me next month. How about it? Of course, we did think about the dangers, and we were worried about, you know, being safe, because we thought to ourselves, this is a different crowd, this is a different setting, and this is a different scene, and we don't know everybody like we do in high school. And people out in the clubbing scene are a lot more vicious than people in high school, and these are older people. You could get hurt. We knew that there was a lot of danger at hand, but we did talk about, if this was going to happen, if I was going to go to the club as Carla, that the biggest thing was just to be safe. And I knew for myself that I wasn't going to go talk to guys or trick them or fool them into thinking that I was someone I wasn't. This was just a night just for me to just be me. Once getting around that mindset, we were really excited. I was super excited because when you have people who are behind you and they support you and they want you to just be yourself and to be the best version of yourself, and they know the girl on the inside and they want to be there for her, you're more motivated and you feel more safe knowing that you're in good hands of the people that you love and trust the most. So in that same breath, we headed to the mall and we shopped for our first clubbing outfits. And I remember the monumental moment that was me buying my first pair of heels. And I still have the shirt that I bought that day, which was my first Carla shirt. Sure enough, that Thursday we got ready. I did my hair and my makeup and I got dressed, and I saw me for who I was in the mirror for the first time. I mean, I had dressed up here and there when my parents weren't home, but never had a full-blown, here I am experience and I'm going to go show the world. This was a very monumental moment for me in my life, and I remember it so vividly. I remember walking out of Samantha's bathroom and I was like, here I am, and my friends were so excited. I remember passing the mirror one last time before we headed out, and I just looked at myself and said, hi, Carla. And that was such a beautiful moment for me that I'll never forget. And then we headed to the club, which it was $3 Thursdays in San Francisco, so we could turn up for like $3 on a school night. We were totally living life on the edge. So we get to the venue and we're headed to the line, and my heart is beating a million times per second because I'm thinking to myself, like, what if somebody clocks me, or what if somebody calls me out, and what if I get jumped, and what if something bad happens? I'm with my girls and I'm comfortable with them, but if something were to go down, I don't know how much they can throw down if they have to, if I get jumped or if I get hurt. But I just had to calm myself, and I said, you know, you're here for you. If anything happens, you were at least able to be yourself. I remember just walking down that line, and I don't think, in hindsight, I don't think that I was cute at all. I think my makeup blending was terrible. I think that my weave was like just little strands of hair, so it didn't even look cute, and my jeans weren't well fitted. But apparently, as I was walking down the line, I remember people and guys, you know, staring and turning their heads, and I kind of got a boost of confidence, and I was like, okay, I got this. Here's a funny story, and this will go into, you know, how I got my name story. But I remember passing by somebody and I just heard somebody whisper, and like, I laugh about it now, but I remember somebody whispering to their friend, like, oh, is that Cassie? I know she was coming to the club. And I was like, oh, I mean, y'all think I'm Cassie? Okay, I'll take it. So long story short, that's partially where Cassandra came from. So anyways, we actually were able to get to the front of the line because, again, when you know people, one of our close friends was a promoter, and so he kind of took us to the front of the line. And it's funny now because this is literally the moment that I met one of my best friends. I didn't know him at the time. He didn't know me. This was my first time going out as myself. He was the one throwing these parties, so my friend was working for him, and so he introduced us to him. And again, I had never really spoken to anybody yet as myself, so I was like, oh my god, my voice is a dead giveaway. And so when he introduced us to him, I remember just like trying to say it under my breath. I was like, hi, I'm Carla. And because I was so soft-spoken, I remember he grabbed my hand harder and he was like, what was your name? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, I'm Carla. And he's like, oh, what's up, Carla? Nice to meet you. And I was like, okay, what's up? Nice to meet you too, right? And so after that, I was like, okay, I mean, it's not that bad. Like I can do this. Subsequently, he actually ended up being one of my really closest friends to this date, so you just really never know who you're gonna meet in life. After that, I was obviously more comfortable. I was like, you know what? I need to stop tripping. My defenses obviously came down a little bit more. At the time, I was like, I feel pretty, I feel cute, and I feel good. I feel like myself. And after that moment, that night was just such an amazing night with my friends, and I had never felt more free than I did in that moment. I thought that if I would have gone out once, that it would fulfill me and I could be okay with just living the rest of my life as a boy who feels like a girl, but it actually backfired because I thought to myself, like, this is my life, this is who I want to be, and I don't want to change back, and I don't want to go to school tomorrow as a boy, and I don't want to have to, you know, live my life in the way that I've been living it. This is who I am. And I felt so in tune to myself that night that I didn't know how I was going to go back. It was seriously like Cinderella, like, you go back to your rags after these riches, boo. But in that same breath, I also didn't know how to go about being a woman. And I also didn't have any more outfits left, but I didn't know how to tell anybody at school. I didn't know how to tell my family yet. And so the next day, sure enough, I went back to school as a boy and tried to really fight back the feelings, and just remembering how good I felt for that one night and hoping that that one night was going to be enough until senior ball where I could be me again. And I was like, oh, that day can't come any sooner. But that night alone definitely helped me build my confidence, and I knew that I could be a woman and I would be okay. But it ended up just giving me a taste of a life that I wanted to live so badly, that I just need to be me. I just need to live this life every day. It can't just be here and there, or sometimes. This is me and this is who I have to be. And then it finally hit me. I thought to myself, I have lived my whole life being made fun of, being bullied, being called names, and being made fun of for being someone or something that I wasn't. So then I thought, if I just go to school as a woman and show everybody who I am and who has been living internally inside me for all of my life, if somebody says something negative, if something bad happens, if I get hurt, if I get beat up, if people think things or say things, at least it's going to be under circumstances that were valid and things that were true and things that were actually real and had weight to them. And real talk, because I wanted this life so bad and because this was somebody that I had to be, I was willing to go down for it, and I was willing to stick up for who I was, no matter what the cost, no matter what was coming my way. So this was the moment that I had to mentally armor myself and prepare myself and really make a commitment and realize, like, if this is the life you're going to live, you have to take every single thing as it comes. You have to take every negative moment. You have to take every bad word. You have to take every stare. You have to take every negative thought about you. But you also get to take all of the good. You get to take the fact that you get to look in the mirror and you're yourself. And there's going to be people that are going to support you. There's people that are going to be there for you. You know who you are. You know who you are inside and out. And you're a beautiful woman if you just let yourself be. So I took the good, the bad, the ugly, and I did a little bit of my own shopping, and I borrowed some clothes from my closest friends, and I went to school one day. I remember the exact outfit. It was like a floral skirt and a white v-neck. I curled my hair and I put on my heels, and I remember walking onto the campus grounds, and right before I went into the main place where people were gonna see me, I took a huge breath and just said, this is you, and this is a decision you're making. You got this. I walked in confidently as possible in my heels, and I remember the first person I saw was one of my friends, and she was like, is that you? You look so good. Good for you. That just kind of gave me the biggest odd boost of confidence, and at that point I was just like, you know what? We're good. We got this. And I remember going to class. Everybody looked, but then I didn't care. I was me and I was happy. And I remember telling my teachers that day, can you start calling me Carla Cassandra? And they all went with it, and they all understood it. And my English teacher that day, I remember, passed back one of my papers that I think that I BS'd and still got like an A+ on. And she slipped it onto my desk and she said to me, you are one of the bravest kids I know. Keep doing you. The affirmation from all of these people, all of my colleagues, all of my peers, and all the people I was scared of felt so good. And I remember hearing people just say, it makes sense now. Because, like I said, for all of my high school life and all of my school life, people thought I was gay and they thought that, you know, different things. And it was the hardest thing for me to ever try to tell them, like, I'm not gay, I just feel like a woman. And it was a moment of actions speak louder than words. And here I was presenting myself to the world and to my school, and everybody finally saw me for who I was and they understood it. Obviously, it wasn't like a walk in the park. There were people who didn't understand, and you know, there were people that said things, but at this point I was like, I just don't care. I'm happy. People are supporting me and I'm who I am. It was in that moment that I learned that no matter what negativity comes your way, no matter what bad things are said about you, if you are genuinely happy with who you are and your choices that you make, negativity doesn't matter. This was midway of senior year, so luckily we didn't have PE anymore. PE ended in sophomore year, so I don't know what I would have done with a locker situation, but I do remember that my teachers would pull me aside and they would say, you know, if you need to use a bathroom, you know, you can use the faculty bathroom because there might be an issue with you using the girls' bathroom, and obviously we don't want you to use the boys' bathroom. And they didn't say that in a bad way. They were just saying, we know that you're not a boy and we don't want you to have to go use the boys' bathroom, and we don't want you to have to go under the scrutiny of boys feeling weird about you being in the bathroom. To which my high school self replied, like, Mr. Clark, don't worry, I don't use public bathrooms. So I knew that it was gonna be an adjustment, but it was a quick adjustment. It was like, with the snap of my fingers, I was Carla Cassandra at school. And it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would be, and my teachers were all on board, my friends were all on board, and I was just happy. But I still hadn't told my family, so I would go to school as a girl and I would come home because my parents were working, they didn't pick us up. I would come home and I would get dressed back into my boy clothes, take off my makeup, and just when they got home I was a boy. And I used to hate coming home because I was like, oh, I feel so good, I just spent the whole day being a girl and now I have to be a boy. Because, you know, even though it was an easy transition at school and everybody accepted me there, family's a little different and it's a little harder because these are the people who raised you and people you've grown up around. But I knew eventually the conversation was gonna have to come up if I was gonna live this life, and I was going to tell them, but they ended up finding out by a complete accident of me just completely slipping up, and that's for another video. But basically they came home one day earlier than I expected and I was in my clothes as a woman, and they didn't say anything. They just said, can you help us get the groceries? And my mom, I think, was just like, Anak, your pad is coming out of your bra. After that moment, Carla Cassandra was in full swing, and there was no looking back, there was no going back, and I have never been back since. And that senior year, I graduated and walked across the stage as Carla Cassandra. And 8 years later, here I am today in front of you guys. And even though this life warrants a lot of negative experiences, it comes with amazing, fulfilling ones too, more than the negative. To say that the pros outweigh the cons is an understatement, and to be able to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and see who I envisioned myself as, to see the woman that I always thought I was going to be, and to present myself to the world and have the world accept me, have the people that matter accept me and support me, is a feeling that is just one that I can't even explain. And I wouldn't trade the negative parts or any part of this life for anything or anyone else. And knowing everything that comes with this life and everything that I've been through and all that this 8 years has molded me into, I would choose this life over and over and over again in every lifetime. So here's to the past 8 years, and here's for the lifetime to go. I am the happiest I've ever been, and I have lived the most amazing past 8 years that I've ever lived. I just want to let you guys know that your love and support keeps me going, and it makes me a stronger woman every single day. It's hard to do a YouTube channel, so thank you. I owe you guys my life. So if they ask me what I do and who I do it for, it's for y'all. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. So if you guys like it, don't forget to put a thumbs up on it and hit the red button that says subscribe. And I will see you guys in my next video. But until then, don't ever forget to work hard and slay harder. Love you. Bye.